Mental picture. So last week, I'm at my regular job. I deliver pizza. I know before you say it, I already know delivering pizza with a podcast. Yeah, that's my life right now. But here's the part I don't talk about. I sometimes deliver to plantations. Not like historical plantations. Well, some of them actually are. But most of these new developments, these gated communities with names like Ashley Plantation, Fashion Plantation, Plantation Estates, real estate. Real estate. They really named it that. And I'm a black man pulling up to Ashton Plantation delivering pizza. The history isn't lost on me. So I pull up to Ashton Plantation, nice neighborhood, big house, 3-car garage, green mailbox out front, the whole Louisiana aesthetic. Woman come to the door, look at me, look at the pizza, tips, $5 on a $40 order, $5. And I'm standing there at Ashton Plantation thinking, my ancestors couldn't come to the front door, and now I'm delivering pizza for gas change. And they named it Ashton Plantation, like that's something to be proud of. I guess that's progress. Not the irony of being at a plantation, not even the gas I just spent getting there. I'm thinking about episode 4. Not the customer, not the $5 tip, not even the delivery I just made to Oak Plantation. I'm thinking about this script and whether anybody's gonna watch it. That's the mental price. You're never ever present anywhere because half your brain is always somewhere else. You're delivering pieces to Ashton Plantation, sometimes to black families, not even seeing the irony while I'm trying to rehearse these lines or recording this podcast, worried about the deliveries I'm gonna have to make tomorrow. I'm trying to sleep, trying to calculate if I can pay for my bills and get a new microphone. And after a while, I start to feel crazy because I got 2 lives. One that pays the bills and the one I actually want to live. And both of them are demanding everything I got. So I finish the delivery, get back in the car, phone buzz, next order. Another $40 pizza, address, Fashion Plantation. Fashion Plantation, that's a real place. And here's the wild part. Sometimes it's black families living there, black folks, in plantation estates with the sign out front that says plantation only. And I pull up and they answer the door and I hand them a pizza and nobody say nothing. Like, we all just okay with it now. Our ancestors would be confused. They'd be like, wait, we live in where? And we pay for it? But that's progress, I guess. We went from working on a plantation for free to paying a mortgage to live on one. I guess that's the American dream. And I'm driving through these gates thinking about this. And when I get to New Orleans, I pass a billboard sign announcing Cat Williams coming to town soon. And I asked myself, I wonder what would I say if I had the opportunity to meet him? I'm a man running a podcast, and I'm a man delivering pizza, running a podcast with 6 to 9 views. I guess that's my life for right now. I deliver pizzas to Ashton Plantation, Fashion Plantation, and Plantation Estates. And I saw a billboard with Cat Williams coming to town. And I run a podcast with 6 to 9 views. Say that out loud. That's That's crazy, I know, right? But there's this thing. But there's this thing. One, one of those pay for my bills, and the other one is my purpose. Guess which one is which? Life crazy. The emotional price. Now, let's talk about relationships, because that's where it really cost you. About a month ago, I'm talking to this girl, nice girl, pretty girl. We go on a date. Everything going good. So she asked me, so what do you do? I got a choice. I can lie or I can tell the truth. And I'm like, yeah, and I want to tell the truth. I deliver pizza and run a podcast with 6 to 9 views. Both sound true. Both are true. But one sound like a punchline. So I say, I'm a content creator. I'm more like a social commentator. She say, oh, how many followers you got? 0 subscribers. I got 6 to 9 views last month. She looked at me like I told her I collect rocks. 6 to 9 views. Yeah, but one of them watched the whole thing. She goes, so you deliver pizza? I'm like, yeah. She say, full time? I say, yeah. And the podcast is like a side thing? I say, nah. The podcast is the main thing. The pizza just pay for it. She looked at me like I was speaking another language. I ain't been on a date with her since. But for real though, that's the emotional price. When you're chasing something this hard, people fall off. Friends stop calling because you said no one too many times. Families start to say, when you gonna get serious? And dating, try explaining a vision to someone who just wanna know if you have your life together. And the answer is no, you don't. Because you're investing in something that don't make sense yet. And that's lonely. The spiritual price. Now let's talk about the spiritual price. But because this is where most people quit. Because when you're chasing something great, when you're chasing greatness, you're into a covenant with God. And God say, I see your vision. But before I give it to you, I want to see if you really want it. So he tests you. The test don't look like a test. It looks like failure. It looks like failure to the whole world. You work your hardest, no results. You pray for a breakthrough, silence. You ask for confirmation, nothing. And you still gotta keep going. I'm gonna tell you something real. There was a date about 2 weeks ago where I almost deleted everything. Not in anger, just in acceptance. I looked at my analytics, 6 to 9 views, 0 subscribers, no comments. And I thought, maybe this ain't for me. Nobody said nothing. Not one comment. Not one, this is cool, or even this is trash. Just silence. And that silence is loud. When you put your heart into something and the world responds with nothing, you start questioning everything. Am I wasting my time? Is anybody watching this? Does this matter? And I had my finger on that delete button, ready to quit. But then I realized something. Somebody watched. 6 to 9 people watched. Maybe they didn't comment. Maybe they didn't subscribe. Maybe they clicked off after 30 seconds. But they did click. And what if one of them needed to hear what I had to say? What if one of them, on their date, 183 days of silence, what if one of them decided to keep going because I kept going. I never knew. But that possibility is enough. This ain't about views. This ain't about subscribers. This ain't about comments. It's about the one person who needs to hear what I had to see. And I know that God could use 6 to 9 views and 0 comments to remind me of my purpose. Because he doesn't measure success the way the world does. He measures it by obedience. Did you do what I told you to do? Even when it didn't make sense. Even when nobody was watching. That's the spiritual price. Trusting God's timing when your timeline says it should have already happened. This Billionaire Preeminent Top Status Podcast, episode 4. If you're paying the price right now, drop a comment. Tell me what it's costing you. Because we're building something here. Not a viral moment, a movement. A movement of people who refuse to quit when the price gets too high. Next episode, next Saturday. The voice never dies, it just levels up. And so do you. Top Status Podcast. Billionaire Preeminent.